If your money situation is making you feel hopeless, this is an episode for you. Our guest today is Mel Browne. She's a former financial advisor and an accountant who knows exactly what it's like to hit financial rock bottom and come out the other side. In her 30s, Mel had gone through a divorce and was left with no money. She couldn't get a rental bond together, couldn't pay the wages for her staff, and didn't have enough money for her business's cash flow. But instead of giving up, Mel chose to face her financial fears head on, and in her 40s, she's completely turned things around. She's now a best-selling author, an entrepreneur, and a financial educator. That's today on Money and a Good Life. My name's Stephanie Coombs, and as always, I'm here with my co-host, my mate, the money expert, Ryan Watson. How are you?
I'm really good, Steph. And Sydney side, I'm loving it.
Yeah, I know.
Blue skies,
it's so
no
good
rain.
to have you in the best city in Australia.
Well, allegedly.
Now, today we're obviously speaking with Mel Browne. She's a financial educator and the author of Your Finances. We are saying the naughty word.
We are saying the naughty word.
We were talking about this just before we started recording. It's a good name for a book.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a potty mouth bogan from the western suburbs, so I was always going to have that in the title.
I'm so glad. You're in good company. And the book, it's obviously changed a lot of people's thoughts on how they manage their finances, and it's been a big success. Were you expecting it to go off as well as it has?
Definitely not. So I wrote it for a Business Chicks Expo. So I was writing for The Age and the Sydney Morning Herald at the time, collated a whole lot of articles, put some filler chapters in there and put it out for an expo. That's all it was supposed to be. Alan and Unwin came along and said, hey, we really like this. Can we take it and can we publish it? I went, sure. And it's now a global bestseller. It's in Dutch, it's in Mandarin, it's in the UK, it's the US. It's
I think
crazy.
you're saying in third edition?
Yeah,
well?
third edition in January, which is exciting.
You went through a divorce and you ended up in, I think, what is a reasonably perilous situation, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
What happened?
When my first husband and I divorced, and I call him my first husband to keep my second husband on his toes, he turned to me during the divorce proceedings and said, you're never going to make it on your own. He's a good bloke, but we say stuff in the height of the emotion. And I'm petty. So my response was, well, screw you, I'll show you. But also because I'm petty, I took every cent from my business and personal bank account and gave it to Opportunity International so that he could never say that anything from that point was a result of him. I've had people say to me, wow, what a boss move. It was such a stupid move. It was such an emotional move. And it's one I see too many people make. Now, not to that extent, but where they'll say, ugh, just have it because I'm so done and I just want this to be over. I want the line in the sand. And the end result's the same. You're in a worse place than you could have been.
I get what you're saying and we shouldn't make emotional decisions, but I do respect the scorched earth.
Yeah.
If you could go back, do you think it would unfold that way, knowing what you know now?
No, I wouldn't do it again. I wished I had someone that I would run decisions past or even held that in a bank account for 12 months. And decide after 12 months.
It is a really compelling storyline now.
Good story now.
It is a good,
now that I've come back.
Because it does show, though, you can start, things go badly because it might not be a divorce. It might be something else that you can sort of...
It can be illness. It can be a retrenchment. It can be anything that you don't expect.
Going back to that time, though, did you remember a time where you think this is actually kind of the low point?
Yeah, it was, I'd moved into a frat house with 5 mates, which was fun, don't get me wrong, but I'm in a mouldy basement bedroom, single bed, everything that I owned fit in that bedroom, and friends were having babies and buying houses, and I just remember lying there going, this is not where I pictured the age and stage that I would be. By that stage in 5 figures of debt, needed to pay super, I needed to pay wages. That was my only option.
It's not an uncommon story though. And then not even because you've gone through a nasty divorce, but people who are in their late 30s, their 40s and beyond who really are struggling in share houses when they don't want to be in share houses. And this feeling that I think this pervasive feeling, I should be further down the road than I am.
And they've got 5 figures of debt, not because they've made a mistake like I did, but because they're trying to keep up. So for me, at least it wasn't that. It was, okay, how do I come back from that?
And well, how did you come back from that?
Doing what I teach by assessing, let's face the income that you're earning, which wasn't enough. So I had started a business and I was spending a lot of time away from that business because I was unhappy. So I wasn't building it. I joined a coaching program and learned how to build a successful accounting firm and doubled that every single year, that business, and then sold that pre-COVID for 7 figures. But I learned how to invest in shares. I learned how to invest in property. So I did those things that I now teach others to do. And learning how to find more income. I think that we don't talk about that enough.
There's 2 cash flow levers, right? We talk about expenses being one. People forget the income.
Yeah.
So, and for you, how was building more income? Was that just investing more of your time and energy into the business?
I think the profit at that stage, so this was many years ago, I was about 28,000 and I invested that and then some into that coaching program. And it was going up to Queensland and learning how to sell, learning how to have a great business. Because just because you're a great technician doesn't mean you're great at business. And that was the case for me.
And what was the first practical step?
So the first practical step would have been the income piece and learning how to do that. The second practical step was learning how to invest, reading books about how to invest, talking to friends that invested that I wasn't aware that invested, and to financial planners. I didn't realise my dad invested. And I happened to bring up with him that I was looking into this. He goes, oh, I invest in shares. I've invested in property. You started to realise more people are doing this than you realise, and you can learn from them as well. Within 2 years of that decision, I had bought a place. I had no bad debt. So it really didn't take long to turn around. Our home, for example, I bought a home, but it was with half of the amount that I could borrow to buy that home, because by then what I'd realised is I never wanted to find myself in the position ever again where I had golden handcuffs on, or where I might not be able to invest despite maybe wanting to live in a different place. I was very strategic around, no, this is what I'm going to do.
And so, Mel, you've talked then about the investments you made, but you made a big investment in yourself.
And I think that's really important, whether it's investing in yourself to learn how to invest, whether it's to build confidence, whether it's to sell, which is essentially what I was learning how to do. That was key.
Was it easy or was it hard for you, Mel, to get that external help or identify what you weren't good at or what you wanted to improve?
I took advantage of a lot of free stuff. Nowadays, there is so much free resources, from podcasts to downloads to everything is Googleable. And you can start there. But what I realised very quickly is that only gets you so far, and you don't have time or the accountability often to take yourself further.
Mm-hmm.
And it's why I joined the program, the learning, the accountability and the competition.
Yeah.
It's the boring, consistent. Yeah.
It's so true though, isn't it? And in every industry,
Steph, it's not boring. Structure creates free. We keep on talking. It's not boring.
It is boring, but it works.
Yeah.
It works. I think that we're so sold on quick fixes. Do this 5 things and whatever, and then your life will change. But it's not. It's actually doing the same thing week after week after week. And then when you feel like it's not going to work, and when you're like, this is dumb, suddenly it will.
The more you put out there consistently, the more someone will see something that resonates with them that will then lead to opportunities.
Exactly.
I see it all the time.
1,000-day overnight success.
Yes.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I really so think that we have been so ruined by the idea of overnight success.
Yes.
Long work behind
That's why
the
the
scenes.
importance of discipline as opposed to motivation. Motivation's fleeting.
Yeah. One of the things that you teach people is about doing a financial detox. And I love this idea. So can you talk to me about the 30-day financial detox?
So that's in finances, and it's also the very first challenge in my course. And the reason being is I think it's so easy for us to consume now, and we are unconscious consumers. If I said to you, how much did you spend last weekend? Most people can't tell. We have become consumer zombies. The 30-day detox is designed to put you back in the driver's seat of your finances again. You choose what you're detoxing from. Okay. So for me, it's books, magazines, clothes, shoes. And for 30 days, the idea is when you go to spend on that, which invariably you will, you don't beat yourself up because you failed. You ask the question, what's the emotion behind that? Is it because I'm bored? Is it because it's just become a habit? And then what could I swap, pause and cancel during that time as well? So it's bringing that consciousness to our finances.
Awareness.
Awareness.
We're building that awareness muscle.
So that you can then change your behaviours. Because ultimately I want to transform people's finances by changing their behaviours. So if we're unaware of what the emotion behind it is, whether it's fear, whether it's I want to celebrate something, whether it's boredom.
Are those some of the most common responses that you come up with? Why are people spending,
Boredom
do you
often
think?
is. I've just got into the routine of doing this. I didn't even realize I was doing this. And it's stress. Stress is a massive one. I've got into the habit of something happened at work, I walk out and I buy me some happy. It's that dopamine hit that I'm after. So stress and boredom are the two big ones that I see the most.
How do you replace that with something that's more
So
healthy?
it might be rules. So if it's Friday night on the couch with a glass of wine, your rule might be I cannot click to buy if I have a first sip of wine. Or I have a 24-hour rule. It has to be in my shopping cart for 24 hours. For the stress, it might be, well, where else could I get a dopamine hit? Is it a belly laugh with a good friend? Is it taking off my shoes and standing in the grass? Is it sunshine? Is it dancing? Is it working out? Is it an orgasm? Is it a big poo? Like, there's so many ways we can get a dopamine
You
hit.
just named my perfect night. I was like, can we do all of them?
Sure.
It's like, yeah. I think if we're talking about like the ease of spending, credit cards, we all know the psychology behind that. It's not your money. You're not spending your money.
Yep.
You're spending future use money and screw that guy. In fact, this is I've got a credit card bill I have to pay. So they just, oh God, actually, yeah, wow. Yeah, I got a text message about that a couple of days ago.
That's a
yeah, here I am.
buzzkill,
It's
isn't
like,
it?
yeah, it's like, oh, are people like me allowed to have credit cards?
Look, I think 90% of us shouldn't.
Yeah.
Genuinely. I find it really interesting, the credit card research. So everything from Citibank to Dun & Bradstreet to independent academic shows that we will overspend if we use a credit card. From 12% to 18% to 100% is the range, but most of that is higher than a credit card interest rate. So if you're smugly listening to this going, oh, but I pay it off every month, you're overspending between 12 and 100%, even just by using it.
And if you don't pay it off each month, you're just further compounding the
Exactly.
problem.
It's an extra 18 or 20. Yeah, definitely.
I've got a few people who are points earners and churners, but that's also how they can get you too, right?
Absolutely. And my grandma used to say, if something's too good to be true, it probably is. And I don't look at banks as benevolent charitable institutions. So, I'm thinking the point system isn't something they're going, oh, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Here you go, just because we're nice.
Might just be in their self-interest.
Might just be in their
just be.
self-interest. We've put a case study together where we looked at what's the ABS say is the average household spend. We ran that through the most popular credit card. We couldn't get anywhere near the overspend that will happen. The overspend we worked out is about $5,000 per year. Best points I could get was $500 on that. And that's the trap. But we hold on to these credit card points because of loss aversion. It hurts more to lose those 5 free flights. It hurts more to lose that overseas trip than that $5,000 that I didn't realize I was overspending
You're potentially carrying an
Interesting.
80 to 90% deficit.
Yeah.
Points. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
And
lot,
yet,
isn't it?
so many people online are peddling points because people don't understand the true cost of it, the overspend to get it.
You've got another book, which is about budgets not working. It's called Budgets Don't Work. Yep. So what does work? If budgets don't work, what does work?
There was an emeritus professor from the Bristol University in the UK that discovered that the budgets don't work long term for most of us, in the same way that diets don't work. What works is healthy eating and moving regularly, not restrictive diets. What works is having a great system of multiple bank accounts, understanding who you are, not having bad debt, automating payments to bank accounts and eating to what's left.
Structure creates
Having
freedom.
structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, cash flow, I think we've got a
See, Steph,
really good
structure.
episode. Oh, no, you'll win me at one point.
Well,
I'm coming around to it, but we do.
I'm not changing.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
this is what we're doing.
But it's like you can find different things you can do to add in, but at the end of the day, like the boring is the thing that works ultimately.
Yep.
It's the Seth Godin bowl method. He's a New York advertising guru that said if you want to change your diet, you have a smaller bowl. It's the same for your bank. It's if you want to change your spending habits, you have a smaller amount that you can see to spend with.
I stay in shape by just not having any food in my fridge. And it's like no temptation, no food.
I don't have chocolate in the house. I
Yeah,
can't
can't have it. Exactly.
Can't
Same
have
thing,
it.
same thing. And then I go back to my family house and just regress to this, like garbage disposal for whatever's
like a
in the cupboards.
raccoon on meth.
Yes, and they're like, Stephanie, get out of there. I'm like, you can't stop me. I think that psychology is that force yourself to behave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Structure.
Yeah, structure. All right, fine. Structure. All right, okay. I'll have some structure. Another topic that you've spoken, I think, really well about, how women view money differently to men, and how women have this sense of their own financial stability falling off a cliff
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
a certain point, which
Yeah.
is so interesting. So talk a little bit about that.
I post regularly about compound interest and compounding returns, and I often use a 30-year time period. Almost every time I post, we probably would have someone DM or comment to say, but I am 30, I don't have 30 years. But I'm 40, I don't have 30 years. But I'm 50, I don't have 30 years. I've never had a guy say that to me. I'd be curious to see if you've ever had a guy say that to you.
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, even I'm 44 myself, and the average 44-year-old these days has a life expectancy of 100.
And that's the
So
thing,
we've-
is that
that-
you're
yeah.
going to be here a lot longer. And I think for women, though, they're looking at earning power and they're going, but I'm 40, I don't have 30 years. And my response is always, but who said? We need to learn how to find more cash outside of our incomes. And again, that's something that we teach. It's how could I find more cash? It's not a side hustle. That's not just me going and getting a second job so that I can continue to invest in my 70s, in my 80s. But it is a very ageist society that we live in. And I see a bleed into finances for women.
Which is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
It is fascinating because I mean that view that there's just this sort of like financial deadline, and after that it's like, oh well, if you're 40, guess you're going to be poor.
Part of the why I talk about having financial independence, being a multimillionaire, is I want other women to see this is not gross. This is okay. Earning more wealth just means I've got more choice. It means I've got more to give back. You don't have to be dodgy in order to get here, I guess, is what we often think. Or you don't have to have married well to get here.
And it is also possible too. Like it is possible. What would you like to see women in their 40s and 50s be doing differently when it comes to money?
I'd like them to start investing, even with small amounts. I think that women don't realise that small amounts make a big difference. Not to wait till we've paid off mortgages and kids who've left, but actually to start doing it with small amounts from now. And to prioritise their financial education. What we know from the research is that guys are talking to their boys about investing. Women are still talking to girls about budgeting and managing money. If only you do it and learn to do it so that you pass on that great skill to your daughter, who at 18, if she's got 50 years to invest, that's a huge difference you can make to her life.
What a great message.
I so agree. And the idea that women are taught to save and men are taught to invest, I still think that rings true. I love the idea. There are a couple of really key messages that I'm taking away from this. Firstly, it's never too late to turn things around.
Yes.
And you should always be sort of looking and building for the future. And there's plenty of opportunity to do that. There are some amazing free resources that you've got, and we will have those in the show notes. Mel, thank you so much for joining us.
You're so welcome.
I feel like I learned a lot.
So,
Yep.
So did I.
That was great. And if you do think that you got any value out of this episode, please make sure that you keep on following Money in a Good Life wherever you're listening to this podcast now. And we'll see you next time.